The US Vice President Vance says Denmark has underinvested in Greenland, making the comment during a visit to an American military base on the island. His trip has been scaled back after protests over President Donald Trump's plans to take control of the territory. Amelia Gomez joins us from Washington, DC. This has been a pretty contentious visit already, hasn't it, Amelia?
Well, certainly when it was first announced, it was not an idea that was welcomed locally. Second Lady Vance was due to spend a couple of days in Greenland. She was going to go to a dog sled race, and the trip was billed as a celebration of unity and culture. But US President Donald Trump has repeatedly said that he wants the US to take over control of Greenland. And this was an unsolicited visit. There had been no invitation for a US delegation to visit the island. So it was met with some uproar. Greenland's leader called it highly aggressive and a provocation. So the plans were changed. JD Vance, the vice president, was added to the trip, and the itinerary was pared back to just one day visiting a US military base instead, and without any wider tour or interaction with locals. Now, at this military defence base, JD Vance has given remarks. He has said that the US has a heavy interest in Greenland. He said that the island is at risk from increased interest from China and Russia in the Arctic, and he took aim at Denmark's leaders. Greenland is a semi-autonomous Danish territory. He said that Denmark had failed to invest in the region and had left it less safe. He downplayed any need for military force for the US to take control of the island, but suggested that Greenlanders could gain self-determination and then they would be ready to cut a deal with the US. Here's a few of his remarks earlier today.
Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. And because it hasn't changed, this is why President Trump's policy in Greenland is what it is.
The Vances have now taken off. They're heading back to Washington, DC. It's an almost 6-hour flight each way, so a very long day of travel with only a couple of hours on the ground. And while they were in Greenland, Donald Trump spoke at the White House and again expressed his desire for the US to gain control of the island, saying that Greenland is needed for international security purposes. Now, this visit comes at the end of a week that the White House has spent batting away questions about revelations that JD Vance and other senior cabinet officials discussed planned military strikes on the Houthis in Yemen in a group chat. JD Vance, at one point in that group chat, was arguing that the US didn't have as much interest in protecting shipping routes from Houthi attacks, and he said, "I hate bailing Europe out." Now, we know about that chat because a journalist was added to it seemingly by accident by the US President's National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, who was also on this trip to Greenland today.